Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rines Report. This is your host, Tristan Blake Rines, and I'm joined here by Donovan Vattelana.
Always a pleasure.
Whoa, excuse me. Goodness, this mic is insane. Later on, we'll be joined by Nicholas Penninger and Terrance Schoefield once again. It's been a long few weeks from the show, which also means it's been an eventful 2 weeks for all of us. We'll be discussing NFL free agency, Stephen Curry and the Warriors' decline, the current MVP race in the NBA, as well as March Madness. So let's give me a touch on, how was your spring break, man?
Oh man, it was refreshing to say the least. I mean, Panama City Beach, Florida, yeah, you can't ask for more than that.
So mine was alright. I was back home in Williamsburg, and I don't know, just pretty relaxing week overall. I mean, a lot of moving around, trying to help people out with a few things here and there. I got to see my mom, some of my best friends, and stuff like that. So it was a nice little refresher. So let's get right into the NFL free agency. Personally, it wasn't as expected. Listening to former shows, you might see that I had quite a few things wrong. We could start off with the fact that the Rants Report Facebook page had kept everybody up to date on free agency. Hopefully, everybody got could keep up as much as I was posting. Because as soon as the new league year starts, it's like all Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport just like, okay, got this call, tweet it out. Got this call, tweet it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is their Christmas time.
Exactly, it's the new league year Christmas. Because everybody is on the market, everybody's up for grabs, and it's exciting.
And everybody's spending way too much for for gifts.
But believe me, I was super excited when free agency started. Being a big NFL fan, just seeing where everybody goes. To me, that's one of the most exciting parts. Even when I play Madden, I like playing I like playing that owner mode where you can, at the end of the season, after a couple, I do like doing the fantasy draft too. That was actually pretty fun for me. And then you see everybody who hits the mark, and you're like, all right, this is cool. This is what it would be like, as a GM, trying to sign people and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, you got to franchise it up.
Oh, yeah, exactly. To me, I enjoy the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
for the NFL teams.
It's cool to play those extra little pieces, and it's funny that a lot of those same free agents are there every time you start a new. So it's always like, I'm gonna get this guy, I'm gonna get this guy, because I know they're gonna hit the market.
It's like the veteran free agents, like defensive ends and stuff like that. Like you know who's coming up. I gotta update my Madden, man.
I haven't played Madden in forever. That's crazy.
Man, I'm still running on Madden 15. I haven't played it. I hadn't played it for a long time until the end of the season. I was missing football.
Yeah, I was bumping Madden 12 until it stopped working on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotta hit the PlayStation Network, try to get the new Madden 17 or something like that, because they still make it for the PS3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? You can go in the store and get it, but it's like, if you don't have the PS4, I mean, it's not going to be the same. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be a roster update at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, so let's see. The winners so far for me. Everybody knew I was gonna be excited talking about free agency. The Patriots and the Jaguars are my two big winners since free agency opened.
Yeah, no, definitely the Patriots. I'm gonna say the Browns. I know that.
Really?
I know I've been going kind of hard on the Browns, but I think they did a really impressive free agency because they have. They use their assets to their advantage. Okay. They have a tremendous amount of cap space. Mm-hmm. And they ate all of that to basically get a free second-round pick from the Browns. Or from the Texans.
Yes.
So they got
for the Brock Osweiler.
For Brock Osweiler,
yeah. They're trying to move off their books, basically.
Yeah,
and they're willing to eat half of his cap.
I mean, it's a salary dump. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. But I mean, they basically just get a second-round pick, and I think they got some additional assets that I can't remember off the top of my head. But they also have the Eagles' first-round pick this year. And I know they haven't been great in drafting over the past couple years.
They had the most draft picks this season.
Yeah, and I think they desperately need it.
The next two seasons so far, they had the most draft picks coming up.
Oh, yeah, and they also traded for Jamie Collins from the Patriots, which I'm not saying he's going to change their whole franchise around.
But he's a pretty good defensive player.
Yeah. He's a solid pick for there, and they actually extended him on his contract, so... They're taking care of needs that they have, even though it's going to take a long time. They're still making a tremendous amount of progress.
I guess that's two ends of the spectrum, because personally, I don't feel like the Browns did a lot of winning this new league year start. I think that they will make the most progress come to the draft.
Yeah.
Because free agency wise, they lost their biggest asset. To me personally, Terrell Pryor to the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Because he has said vocally that he wanted to be in Cleveland, but they just didn't make enough effort to keep him. Obviously.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to go in a different route, I think. Because he's a great player, but you need somebody to throw him the ball. Mm-hmm. And granted, they could have easily gotten...
They could, yeah. The amount of cap they still have, they could go out and make a move for a quarterback.
Oh, yeah. And that's the surprising part about a lot of these. There's a lot of quarterbacks still in the market that haven't.
Jay Cutler's still in the market.
Well, yeah.
We're not saying he's tremendous, but he's better than like Josh McCown.
Jay Cutler with effort is I give him a solid B.
Yeah. He's not. We see that he can play well. It's just that distraught look he has when he's on the bench. He's like, I don't even want to be here.
Just nihilism right on his face.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, Jay Cutler. I could see him going to Cleveland, but I don't know if he'd want to for the offense that they have.
Yeah,
it's a really run heavy offense.
I don't even know what type of offense he really wants. I mean, I know he wants
to pass the ball,
but at the same time,
perfect situation for Cutler is probably San Francisco. To me, because Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. I feel like he could probably do. I mean, but then again, they brought in Mark Trestman for the Bears, and he's supposed to be like a quarterback whisperer.
But Jay Cutler.
Apparently, Jay Cutler needs to be yelled at as opposed to whispered to.
I mean, Brian Hoyer was getting time starting at quarterback too, and sad story for Brian Hoyer because he was with Cleveland and he had a couple injuries, and they gave him the boot out.
Yeah.
But he's not. As a backup quarterback, as they come, he's not bad at all.
Some people just have a natural just niche for being a backup quarterback, and I feel like Brian Hoyer is like
the Josh McCowns of the world.
Yeah, Josh McCown, Brian Hoyer. Yeah, it's unfortunate for them. I mean, but they gotta make their money somehow.
Exactly. How many teams has Josh McCown been on? He had I posted a while ago.
Oh man,
he's on the Jets now.
He's on the Jets now.
Yeah, he got signed recently to the New York Jets.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say they've found their quarterback, but he's not a bad quarterback to have.
Yeah, but the Jets just seem to have bad luck with quarterbacks. Like, they'll have Ryan Fitzpatrick do amazing one year.
Which I didn't even when he wanted $16 million. Yeah, I thought that was a little absurd.
It's like you can't pay him. Like you can just keep him for minimum wage and he'll play like a star. But as soon as you pay him,
he only plays well against the Patriots. Every time I watch the Jets games.
Yeah, but as a Jets fan, that's all that matters.
If your entire season is below 500 and you guys can play the Patriots well, I mean, Jets fans.
Yeah.
Let me see who else is on this list. The Jaguars, to me, they're winners so far. Calais Campbell, Barry Church, two really big signings.
Oh yeah.
They made strides in the right areas. I want to know who their GM is personally.
Isn't it Tom Coughlin? Doesn't he have
He's head of football operations.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So he oversees most of it, but he isn't the GM.
The guy that overall. Gotcha.
But the Jaguars are awesome in free agency. The last 3 seasons, they brought in good talent.
Well, I feel like we always say that for the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Like they always say they won.
Well, this last season to me, they had a lot of potential. I had the Jaguars win the division last year.
Yeah. But
they, didn't perform as well as everybody had thought they were going to.
Yeah, I feel like their fate is basically tied with Blake Bortles at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean,
if he plays well, then they win. But if he doesn't play well,
exactly.
then obviously they.
I mean, that's how most teams are in the NFL because that's just the.
It's a really quarterback reliant.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I mean, I feel like we always say this year after year is like this is the Jaguars' time. This is the time that they step up. And granted, they've made some really good moves. Like they got Jalen Ramsey. A couple seasons ago, they were really good. Number 5.
Yes.
Yeah, they got Jalen Ramsey at number 5, which a lot of people said was a huge steal. Like, he should have gone before that.
Because I personally, that year, I thought Ezekiel Elliott was going to go a little bit later than he was.
Yeah.
Even though he's obviously a great running back. Jalen Ramsey, I really thought that he was going to Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people would have connected those pieces. Because, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott...
Because then you have 2 first-round corners on your roster.
Oh, yeah.
With then Byron Jones from a few seasons ago as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wasn't Barry Church also a first round, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
In Dallas, he's now with Jacksonville.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's the best corner they could have gotten.
But he's more of a safety.
Oh yeah. But he as far as the secondary goes, he's not the best they could have gotten.
But he is an improvement.
Definitely, yeah. So I mean, that was a good move for them. I don't think Cowboys fans are too sad to see him go, but.
Well, you talk to Terrance about that. He might be a little more upset.
Yeah. every Cowboy fan I talk to, they seem like, oh, all right.
I mean, it's gonna be whatever. And Zeke and Dak we trust, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, if your defense can't, it can almost end up being the same thing as the New Orleans Saints, where it's like, we have this stellar, awesome offense, but our defense allows 35 points a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, then again, I've heard the same thing about the Cowboys and as an Eagles fan, I've said it is that the Cowboys defense is going to be their Achilles heel, and it seems year after year, that Rob Marinelli seems to just pull them together and make at least a solid.
He was in the running for assistant coach of the year. He only lost it behind Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, well, yeah, Kyle Shanahan had an amazing season.
Oh, yeah, he's the offensive coordinator for Atlanta. And now he's got a head coaching job with San Fran.
Yeah, it's
hopefully, crazy. I'm hoping for San Francisco to turn it around.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the last few years.
You can see that there's definitely potential there because
John Lynch is the new GM.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have fresh faces in their front office.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that want to go there. I honestly thought nobody wanted to go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because of the situation they were in. But, I mean, that was Kirk Cousins' preferred landing spot.
Yes.
Which really surprised me.
It still seems possible in the realm of, like, big trades that could happen.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know, with the way the Redskins offseason is going, I don't think they're going to want to give up probably their best player now because they lost so much. Which brings me to my loser of this free agency would probably be the Redskins, most of all. Yeah.
I mean, they re-signed the best quarterback on the market, which is why I probably didn't really think too much on the Redskins. But they lost Pierre Garçon.
Yeah, they lost most of his weapons, though.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson's gone.
Their two best wide receivers, they lost. And granted, their other receivers aren't terrible, but...
those are some good established weapons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're a quarterback and you see Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson are gone from what you had, it makes you, like, cringe a little bit.
Yes.
Especially if you yourself want to leave. I mean, they franchise tagged him
for the second
but it's not like he's happy.
Yeah.
So
which is why I think either he has some crazy big statistical year, and because he's going to be unrestricted next year. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's almost nothing they can do to keep him in Washington unless they were like, okay, we're going to give you like a huge contract. Which, from what I had read, is that he wanted something a little more short term with the Redskins, with some good money, obviously, but he didn't want anything past like 3 seasons.
I mean, yeah, that's it's unfortunate that he's in this situation. I mean, it feels like it's frustrating as a player in general, let alone a quarterback.
Well, you got to imagine what the front office is feeling for the Redskins, where it's like we have this franchise quarterback who kind of doesn't want to play for us right now because he's frustrated because we're not doing what exactly he wanted, and now he kind of wants out. So he could not play as super awesome as we wanted him to next season, or he plays great and we can't really do anything about it.
Well, I mean, if I was the GM for the Redskins, that's what I would. Speaking of the GM, they lost their GM too, which I mean, it just doesn't look good for them right now.
They're in a weird spot, front office as well as their offensive.
Yeah, they just seem like they're in disarray, which is probably one of the main reasons why I said that they are probably the losers of free agency, if anybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, my big losers are the Bengals and the Cowboys.
Oh, the Bengals, yeah.
A lot of people think that the Bengals, because they haven't really gained a lot. That's the thing. They lost their starting left tackle. They lost one of the best guards in the league at this point. Kevin Zeitler. They lost Andrew Whitworth, Marcus Hunt, Dominic Pecco, Rex Burkhead, Carlos Dansby, all those guys, effective players for the Bengals, and they all lost in free agency.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they haven't really brought anybody back in. Nobody of note, at least.
They didn't even really try, it seemed like.
They brought back Dre Kirkpatrick, excuse me. But that's...
Yeah, but I mean, that's
not a big outside signing. It's somebody who expected to
They didn't
stay.
fill the gaps that were created from this free agency.
Because Andy Dalton was getting hit off of his right side. His left side was pretty secure having those two, but now you go from having a decent offensive line, not getting hit nearly as much, to possibly having the worst offensive line in football.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see who they replace him with in the draft, but right now it's not looking good. It's honestly...
Because I couldn't name you who their backups are.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
I think the best offensive lineman they have left is Russell Bodine, who's from Virginia, by the way.
What is he? What position is he?
Center.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for Andy Dalton because I mean he lost his weapons that he had in Mohamed Sanu, and I mean he still has AJ Green and stuff like that.
AJ Green's a beast.
Yeah, but I mean...
But he can't do it all by
himself. You
himself.
got to be able to throw the ball in order to get it to him.
It's like when they had Calvin Johnson on the Lions before they had Matthew Stafford. It was like, well, we have this great receiver, but we can't throw it to him.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for... I mean, I feel bad for Andy Dalton. He's losing all of his support cast left and right. I mean, it looked like they were in a position...
Because they were potentially a playoff team every year.
Yeah, I mean, they threw it away against the Steelers, in my opinion. Like, they lost it with all their penalties in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And... their head coach, Marvin Lewis. I know this sounds bad, but I'm not really sure how he's still the coach there. I mean,
I think it's a matter of he's been to the playoffs a few times, but he hasn't gotten them past the first playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, but he's been there for so long, and I'm not saying
it's almost like a Jeff Fisher situation.
Yeah,
to me,
yeah,
where Jeff Fisher would stick around with teams like the Titans and the Rams for longer than you think he was.
Yeah, and I mean, well, Jeff Fisher, in my opinion, was a worse situation just because he had so many losing seasons, and it was always like he's ready to turn it around.
Yeah.
And just the same thing over and over again.
Well, the thing with Jeff Fisher was that he's a big defensive coach, and they drafted offensively almost all the time.
Yeah,
when he was with the Titans and when he was with the Rams.
It's weird how
like Sam Bradford's one of the examples is that he drafted a quarterback, and they needed a quarterback, but there was so much other really good talent available. This was the year Ndamukong Suh was drafted.
Oh yeah.
And Sam Bradford went number 1.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, looking back, they probably should have gone defensively, but I mean, they it's not like they didn't have the defensive talent there. They had a really solid. They still defense.
The Rams have a good defense overall. Like they performed really well at the beginning of the season last year. It's just their offense couldn't keep it up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Sam Bradford. It's not like he was terrible there either. I mean, he was okay.
But they couldn't keep him from getting hurt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, injuries just is the name of the game for Sam Bradford. Unfortunately, that's. I mean, that's his biggest struggle.
Staying on the field.
Staying on the field.
As an Eagles fan, you know that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm terribly familiar with that. But yeah, no, I mean Jeff Fisher and Marvin Lewis. I mean, granted, they're still getting their paychecks and their players. Well, I know at least for Marvin Lewis, their players love them.
And I'm sure the ownership likes the coach.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
have to think about it as a business decision. Okay, is this going to be the year that if the team doesn't perform as well as we want it to, then is he out the door?
Yeah, I mean, but
I feel like this is one of those years coming up for Marvin Lewis is that if he can't make this team at least semi-relevant in that division, then this could be his last season with Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I feel like it should have been like that probably like maybe a year or 2 years ago. But I mean, credit to the owner for having the patience and to stick around because there's so many owners that'll just get rid of you after a season.
Yeah.
Like the Browns ownership is the first one that comes to mind. The
move
49ers,
on from coaches in a season.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean that's why Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch wanted such long contracts and such huge contracts
because they wanted to develop.
They wanted that commitment. Yeah, you can't have commitment issues and expect somebody to come in
and then just turn it around with complete garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to take organizations that have been, a dumpster fire and then make them into, solid gold. Perfect.
That takes time and commitment. And unfortunately, I feel like...
Which I think is nice for the Browns to not fire Hugh Jackson after one season because you planned your entire season almost around RG3.
Yeah.
Who gets hurt first week.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck and you have a multiple rotation of quarterbacks throughout the rest of the season in like Charlie Whitehurst, McCown, and Kessler, and Terrell Pryor even playing some quarterback.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Cleveland. I mean,
in Cleveland we hope.
Yeah. Believe Land.
Believe Land. It's a great documentary, by the way. If you haven't checked that out.
I love that documentary. That's probably one of the best 30 for 30s I've watched in a long time.
Yeah, it makes you want to be a Browns fan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think we all have a little soft spot for the Browns. I dog on them a lot.
I've said this a few times where if I wasn't rooting for the Patriots on Sundays, it'd probably just be because the Browns have been so bad. I think it also comes from the perspective of me being a Patriots fan, and we've won so much. We're just gonna keep winning. They're gonna get tired of us winning.
It's gonna be great.
No, but being a Patriots fan, you're like, okay, well, the Browns put up good games. They try. That's what matters to me. Is that they try. Almost every time we played the Browns, it's been some good games.
Yeah, I feel like they just in a lot of situations they just come up slightly short, and you feel for their fans. I mean, their fans are probably the most loyal fans in sports.
Yeah. I mean, at one point last season though, they couldn't sell out the stadium. They were selling tickets for $12, $13.
I mean,
I'm not saying these are great seats.
I would totally buy tickets to go see the Browns.
The Giants were rolling into town. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna give them $13 for tickets for some nosebleed seats." But it's not like going to an NFL game isn't like a bad experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good atmosphere. I mean, especially like if you go into the Browns stadium. I mean, are they going to be like arrogant? Yeah, I don't think they're going to be.
You might get some humble fans there.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this moment, for our entire lives. Like when the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs, if it's not against the Patriots, I will of course be rooting for the Browns.
Oh yeah, I mean you want to see that underdog.
Oh yeah, in my lifetime I want to see the Cleveland Browns win the Super Bowl.
And I didn't realize I've been making so many dog references towards the Browns, and I completely forgot that they had the dog pound.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Outside of the Bengals, the Cowboys to me are big losers. They lost Brandon Carr to the Ravens, Maurice Claiborne to the Jets, Barry Church to the Jaguars, Doug Free retired, J.J. Wilcox went to Tampa Bay. And that's basically your entire
Doug Free retired? I didn't realize that.
Doug Free retired.
That's a really surprising
he hung it up.
move. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they're definitely not in a good position. Well, I mean, they are in a good position, but
offensively, they still will be fine.
Yeah.
Losing Doug Free was a solid right tackle. He'd be the number one guy on any other team if he had left Dallas by chance. He'd be the number one guy there. But they re-signed Leary at their left guard. And I feel like this gives La'el Collins, who they had at guard when Leary was hurt, the opportunity to shoot out right and take that spot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still in a good position. Their offensive line is still the best, one of the best.
One of the best, yeah.
At least, yeah.
It's between them and the Raiders to me.
Well, I mean, the Raiders, yeah. The Raiders.
Which Nick and I will, fight over at some point.
Yeah?
Yeah. When he comes on, we argue back and forth who's the best offensive line. Oh, and I always would get on him, be like, well, you guys don't have an effective right tackle because you guys can't stop Von Miller. And he'd be a little upset about it. Let me see. They lost Gabe, I think it was Gabe Watson or something like that, one of their offensive linemen to the Broncos, but nobody's upset about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but the Cowboys without that secondary, because their defense was huge last year.
Yeah.
And Marinelli, like you were saying, great defensive coordinator. He took some guys that were kind of decent, you know what I mean? Like would be average starters on any other team, and he made them play like all pros.
Yeah, and plus we have to see what the draft will entail. But for right now,
but even having a bunch of rookies out there against these veterans.
Oh yeah,
in that kind of division too, it's still tough. I mean, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, going up against the New York Giants this season is going to be treacherous.
Well, especially since the Eagles just loaded up on wide receivers.
Yeah,
they had
Alshon Jeffrey. Arguably, to me, is probably the biggest signing of free agency.
Possibly, yeah. I don't want to get too head over heels for this yet, but I mean, like we went from probably one of the worst wide receiver cores to possibly one of the best.
Well, basically a bunch of number 2 receivers.
Yeah.
Well, now you have a bunch of guys who are just fighting for the 2 spot or 3 spot behind Alshon Jeffrey.
Which will help because competition usually helps in football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to bring out one of the best people. Even if the other ones sink, one will rise, basically.
But the Cowboys trying to defend, let's say back-to-back weeks, trying to defend Brandon Marshall, Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And then having to defend, let's say, Jordan Matthews, Alshon Jeffrey.
I think the Brandon Marshall signing is really underrated. I think that was probably one of the best ones. He's not in his prime right now, but that's the place he kind of.
I think it's good, but I don't think they needed to sign him. And the reason why is because the Giants' offensive line is not very good. Eli Manning doesn't really have time still to stand in the pocket and throw the ball to his receivers.
Well, under Ben McAdoo's offense, their whole goal is to just get it off as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And luckily for them, Brandon Marshall has size, so he could be a good possession wide receiver for them.
Which will be good, but I'm saying that you need to still improve where it counts.
Yeah.
Because you can't throw quick every single down.
They're going to try.
They'll try their very best. I put them probably right behind the Cowboys this upcoming season. Barring any injuries, I put them right behind the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Eagles still have a little bit of things to develop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, with Carson Wentz, I think that's where basically our fate lies. But he's going to take some time to develop him like any good quarterback.
Yeah. I'm glad Carson Wentz had a little bit of say. They're maybe not giving him the LeBron James kind of like big head about finding people, but it's,
Yeah.
It's getting the quarterback say into who do we need for this offense and making things work.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, who else? But yeah, like I was saying before, the biggest signing to me, personally, it is Alshon Jeffrey for the Eagles. Because you get this number 1 established wide receiver, and then you also don't get him for a tremendously gigantic long-term contract, which to me is smart. Which is also the same reason, I was almost going to say Terrell Pryor. But I feel like we've seen more of Alshon at receiver.
Yeah, and yeah, right. Yeah, Terrell Pryor. I think Terrell Pryor was probably one of the best signings, especially since you got rid of your two biggest wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. You bring in another guy.
You bring in a guy that can possibly fill that role.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alshon is a 1-year, $9.5 million contract, and if he stays on the field and is healthy, then you have the potential to just re-sign him next season.
Oh yeah,
which to me, big deal.
Yeah, as soon as he gets the first 3 games, if he's good those first 3 games, just automatically start working on re-signing him, in my opinion.
Let's see. So some other names still left on the market. Adrian Peterson. And we were discussing this before he even came on air. The factors on why he's still on the market. And I feel like one of the big reasons is probably because of Marshawn Lynch's name coming up to the Raiders now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Marshawn Lynch, obviously, they're both powerhouses when you talk about running backs. Age is probably another big factor that goes into that. Mm-hmm. But the question is, like, since he's been removed from the league for so long and he hasn't played consistently,
yes,
is his shelf life longer than most running backs because he doesn't have the miles?
Well, we saw that when he came back, he wasn't a bad running back, and personally, I feel like he can go in anywhere and play, but I don't think he needs to be your solid guy who's going to be 3 downs. I think you can put him in a commodity backfield and then make it work. The only place I see him going where that happens, well, the only 2 places really are the Packers and the Giants. Because it makes sense to me. Because every time, the Packers would play the Vikings, like Adrian Peterson has some pretty good games against them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he almost broke the rushing title against them. I mean, I remember watching that game, just rooting for him to get
those. Exactly. I think all of us wanted him to.
It was like the last couple of yards, like...
Adrian Peterson, it's just the last season what we saw is that he was barely averaging like 3 yards a carry before his injury.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the biggest reason why he hasn't been grabbed up yet. He's on the NFL's free agency list. He's number 8 ranked, still up there. And the teams that are looking at him are Oakland, Minnesota, and Seattle. But I feel like Green Bay should be a little more interested.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Adrian Peterson, I wouldn't be so quick to go to Seattle just because their offensive line situation isn't much better.
But him and, let's think about that. If he goes to Seattle, him and Eddie Lacy, like just trading it off back and forth, with the running backs they still already have there who can catch out of the backfield, that wouldn't be too bad for Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
even though they still need to build
Packer
up.
And a former Viking playing on the same team.
Yeah, for funny. Seattle trying to win the title.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how good Adrian Peterson would look in that blue and neon green, but
yeah, I think he'd be able to pull it off somehow.
I figure it'd be okay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely as a.
Because if you're a Vikings fan, it wouldn't be like if he went to Green Bay. It'd be like, oh, the traitor thing. Because then the Green Bay fans would be like, now you know when you guys had Favre. Like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that'd be a little bit of a payback. You take Adrian Peterson away from the Vikings.
But I feel like Vikings fans would be like, well, his last couple seasons weren't that great. So.
To be fair, though, the offensive line situation for the Vikings isn't great. Like, I mean,
they're like near the bottom of the league overall.
So I mean, like, I don't look at his numbers last season as indicative of what it's going to be like in the future.
Well, they ranked last in rushing yards the entire season. Passing yards, they were 18th, I'm pretty sure. And the overall offensive line was like bottom 3 for the whole league.
Yeah. I mean, they started off amazing and then deterioration. I don't think.
Well, it was that defense. That's why.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
No, but the defense definitely was the highlight of that team. But
Drew Brees needs that defense.
Yeah, right.
They'd be winning a title if he had that kind of defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes you wonder how much time Drew Brees has left in the league too, because he's getting up there.
I was talking about this the other day with Nick and Terrance, asking them, well, let's think about this. How far down the list of greatest QBs ever do you go till you hit Drew Brees? Because most people it's going to be Tom, then it's going to be Joe, and then it's going to be, let's say, I don't know, at 3. It's tougher to put at 3 because now it's like we have a definitive 1-2.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think that whenever you talk about the greatest of all time, everybody has a different list.
Yeah.
I don't think if you find 2 people with the same list, then they must be best friends or something like that. Because I think he's definitely.
I don't know if he's
bottom top 10.
Really.
Bottom top.
Because
10.
for me, like maybe let's say like 3 would be like Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? I feel like that's still pretty fair. The things he did in his career were tremendous.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's Peyton Manning.
It's
like,
Peyton. Yeah, exactly. But to me, at this point, I'd put Breeze before I put Marino. I'd put him before I put Favre. And I'd be close to put him with LA, just because of his stats.
Yeah. I would definitely put him over Brett Favre.
I'm sure I could get some backlash over putting him near Elway, but at the same time, you look at it and you're like, well, Drew Brees had some crazy good numbers in his career. If he had better defenses, he'd be in the playoffs every season competing for Super Bowl.
Well, the one year they won the Super Bowl,
they had a really good defense.
They had that defense, yeah, exactly.
The defense that they needed was there, and I was like, okay, great. We can't keep this together after this season.
yeah. Well, I mean, it also the whole controversy that caused their team to basically not fall apart, but they
Greg Williams and the whole bounty scandal.
Yeah. I think that really was like the turning point for the Saints organization. I mean,
turning in the wrong direction.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely not positive.
And they're trying to rebuild. They've been trying to bring in Malcolm Butler from the Patriots,
which I think would be a good.
It'd be a good addition because their cornerbacks are actually not that bad, but I think they need to improve that front four. Well, the entire front seven.
They definitely need more pressure on the quarterback. I'm not sure what their numbers against the run are off the top of my head, but if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't fantastic.
No, their defense ranks usually in the bottom 10 of the league.
which is crazy because they try to bring in a lot of these coordinators and stuff, and it just doesn't seem to work out for them.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So we can move on. Speaking of secondary players, Darrelle Revis is still on the market. And if you follow the Rines Report Facebook page, you've seen that over the past couple of days, a development has come out that's saying that if he's going to play anywhere, it might end up being New England.
Wow. Yeah. It's crazy.
I was surprised to see it too.
To go from Jets, Patriots,
to the Tampa, to the Patriots.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he played for Tampa for a season. Nobody remembers.
Forgettable season.
Everybody forgets that he played for Tampa, but yeah, he ended up playing for Tampa for a season. Went to New England, back to the Jets for a couple seasons, and now he might end up back in New England. And even like the NFL like memes, like Facebook page, I do like some of their stuff. It was like if he goes back to the Patriots, Bill Belichick's gonna make this guy a star corner again, and all this kind of stuff. And I don't expect him to be a number one corner. But he would definitely be a really good supporting role player.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I'm not. He's definitely his shelf life is starting to
deteriorate.
Yeah,
he still has like maybe one season left to play. I'm not saying elite. I'm not saying great, but I'm saying he could still effectively play.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a solid veteran. Even if he's not playing as well as he should, he can at least still play an advisory role to young corners, which is he doesn't
have to come in and be your starter. That's the thing. Is that people are like, oh, he's not good. He can't play in the league. Well, like the thing is, he could still probably play, but he's just not gonna be. He's not as fast as he used to be.
Yeah, just haven't covered the second wide receiver. I mean,
you could have him as your 2. You could possibly throw him in there at 3 for situations.
Yeah,
I've been saying this for the past few weeks to people is that he'd honestly not be a bad safety.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the cool thing about corner is that when you get older, you can convert to safety and still be as effective, if not more effective.
Because think about it like this: Darrelle Revis was a ball hawk in his prime.
Oh yeah, like, Revis Island.
Revis Island was real. And if you think about it, if you give him more vision over the top, he isn't a tremendously bad tackler. He goes down, and I've seen him tackle like Adrian Peterson when Adrian Peterson was pushing out 2,000 yards.
Yeah, well, I mean I guess that's.
But I'm saying
that's the measuring stick
is that Darrelle Revis will go down and make tackles for you.
Oh yeah, no.
Have him as a complement safety with, let's say if he does go to the Patriots. Think about this: have him as a complement safety to McCourty and Chung. Or bring him in as like a 2-3 corner. Like that makes the defense even better.
Or even just have him as like a nickel. Like,
exactly, the 3.
Just have Darrelle Revis come in as
a nickel corner.
As the nickel corner. That'd be pretty funny. That'd be a weird turn of events.
I could see it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it could make a good spot with the roster we have.
If he lets it happen. Because, I mean, he probably has a lot of ego left.
I think at this point, too, I don't think at this point he's going to ask for a ton of money. I think he'd probably go for a couple, not as tremendous as everybody would think he would go for. I think if he went back to the Patriots, he'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to go get another ring.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you're basically taking that pay cut for a ring. But he wouldn't go to a team that's in a worse position for a lot less money, like he would for the Patriots. So I think that's probably why he's...
And outside of New England, I could see him going to the Colts, possibly. I could see that because their secondary isn't very good. Yeah. They could use some veteran leadership out there. Baltimore as an unexpected one almost, but I could see him going to Baltimore as a safety since Ladarius Webb was released.
Yeah.
Dallas, to me, would seem like not a very bad fit either, as a number 2 or number 3 corner.
Yeah, and I mean, they're in a really good position to win, too, assuming that he can fill the roles that they need.
And I think they need that veteran leadership as well, defensively.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Darrell Revis...
Because have him come in there and teach Byron Jones. Byron Jones is a freak athlete.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you have this whole squad of young people. I mean, he would be a good presence in the locker room in general, not just for the defense, in my opinion. I think
the one place that he doesn't need to go is, like, Pittsburgh Steelers, which had looked at him a little bit, but then backed off.
Yeah.
Because of the whole incident with the fans or something like that in Pittsburgh where he was...
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, which is why I was like, when people were like, oh, he might go to the Steelers, I was like, that's not a good idea for him.
Yeah.
Because you just got, arrested for, like, these 2 people, like, bothering the heck out of you, and you just, like, hit a dude. But the charges were dropped, but it's still, like, there's evidence.
It's still that, that there's still...
I think the worst place to go for him would be, like I said, Pittsburgh. Or staying in or going in that division at all. Baltimore could be a little risky. I'm just saying in general.
Oh yeah, Baltimore is risky regardless.
Because
mean,
you go to Pittsburgh,
but yeah, exactly. I think there's probably no link to this, but I mean, we were just talking about how the Saints need a cornerback. Maybe the Saints.
Maybe, but the thing is, they have Delvin Breaux, who's not a very bad, pretty good young corner. He could be eventually their number 1. Keenan Lewis isn't a very bad corner either. Has shown signs of being possibly elite at one point. Their safeties, Vaccaro isn't very bad. They're looking for a safety now. I could see him possibly going in there as a safety.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
not as a starting corner. No.
Oh, definitely not. No, if anything, he would play either a complementary role or fill like a safety position, which I could easily see him playing free safety.
What do you think about Jamal Charles?
Jamal Charles,
Seattle, Philadelphia. I think you could be excited about him going to the Eagles. I think
if we signed him, I would be happy, but I wouldn't be excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of his injury history.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't he coming off an ACL injury?
It's something of the sort, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, if that is the case,
he's had a couple knee injuries in his career.
Yeah, that's why I'm not like skipping, because I mean, personally, from a person that's torn both of my ACLs, I know how it can affect you from where you were to where you are now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be excited for it, but I would be like, okay, cool, awesome. Like,
just think about this: if it's him and Ryan Matthews in the backfield, that's a good complimentary, like 1-2 punch right there.
Yeah, plus Terrance Sproles, you can't forget about.
He's retired.
Oh wait, he retired?
Yes.
Oh man, no! Just ruined my off season, man. Just don't even tell me that. Just let me find out the first game.
Yeah, he retired.
No.
Because then you'd be in front of your TV during the preseason, like, oh man, there goes our special teams.
Where's Terrance Sproles?
I just bought his jersey.
Yeah, look, this is what happened to me. Look, I got Deshaun Jackson's jersey, and I had it for a while. We got rid of him. Next year, I got LaShawn McCoy's jersey.
And then
immediately gone. So it would only make sense that I would buy Darren Sproles' jersey as soon as he
almost leaves. As tragic. My little cousin's an Eagles fan too, and he had bought I'd given him a Terrell Owens jersey way back.
Oh god.
And then T.O. left. Yeah. And then a few years down the road, he bought a Donovan McNabb jersey, and then that same
I also had
like within a month of him buying it, he goes to the Redskins. And I thought that was so funny because like every time you get a jersey, man, they just leave. Like
yeah, that's what happened to me too. I mean, I had obviously, since I'm also Donovan and I wanted to make that pun, I had a Donovan McNabb jersey for years. But everybody I get a jersey for leaves.
What is everything I love? Leave me. So let's see. Remaining free agents I want to talk about: Jake Cutler and LeGarrette Blount.
I don't know why LeGarrette Blount hasn't been signed yet by anybody.
It's age. That's really all it is.
I mean, he just had probably the best year of his career.
But people are starting to realize that even people come out of New England, there could be like, oh, are they a system back? Does it just work with New England?
I don't think LeGarrette Blount's a system back. I think he's a good running back that just happens
Before he came to the New England Patriots, he was with Tampa. He had a decent season, and then it was very, very pedestrian after that.
I just feel like he gets beat out by other running backs, but that doesn't mean that he's not a solid sign. I think, in my opinion, I don't know if he can start consistently.
To me, he's still a commodity back. The teams that I really think he can, I still think he comes back to New England if it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's still possible.
Yeah.
Another team that not a lot of people are thinking about, the Oakland Raiders. I could see them going out and getting him if Marshawn Lynch doesn't work out.
I was about to say, Marshawn Lynch and LeGarrette Blount, I mean, they're two power running backs. If that's what they're looking for, then I think LeGarrette Blount is a great alternative.
Even one of them. You know what I mean? Marshawn Lynch coming off a couple, seasons away. Some people are like, oh, well, he's been off for a couple seasons. That means he's had time to, like, refresh, recharge. Like, he'd come out and play it 1 year for the Raiders. He'd love it.
He's from Oakland.
And the only team he'd want to come out and play for are the Raiders. Because he's asked for his contract release from the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to just go ahead and grant that. I mean, they might.
Because if he's not going to play for you, I mean, why, have him...
Why waste that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the organization, the Seahawks, he's been good to the organization. He's, he brought in a ton of fans. A lot of people love Marshawn.
2 back-to-back Super Bowls.
Exactly. And he's done a lot for the organization. I would grant him it just because I don't think it hurts you.
Yeah, I would say arguably, like, when that rush against the Saints that he did in the playoffs.
It's legendary.
Legendary rush. I mean, possibly the turning point for the Seahawks in a positive way was that rush, if I can remember any.
When he broke tackles off the entire team.
I think he got touched like 12 times or something like that.
Think about that now with the Raiders.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely not that running back anymore.
Well, we don't know.
But we were just talking about Adrian Peterson, almost breaking the rushing record, and then now he can't find a home, and Marshawn Lynch.
But I think if Marshawn gets his contract release from the Seahawks, I could see it in Oakland.
Yeah, he would still be very effective.
Or possibly Las Vegas.
Because
they are starting to find more funds. So,
but
come next season, it could be the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders, yeah.
I still don't think it's a good idea.
What a time to be alive.
Everybody's moving.
Yeah.
We're going to be the Boston Patriots come next season. That's what's going to happen. Like, it's just going to happen. Oh, man. So that should wrap up free agency. So far, we talked about 40 minutes on it because there was a ton of stuff to go over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like a couple weeks worth of...
It's since the 9th of the month. Yeah. And there's been so much to go on. So we could talk a little bit about what do you want to talk about? We want to talk about the MVP race, March Madness, or you want to talk about the Warriors right now? Because we have 20 minutes remaining.
All good topics.
Very good topics.
What would you want to talk about?
Personally, I think it'd be good to talk about, I don't know, this MVP race can work well with the Warriors a little bit, so let's do that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the MVP race. Russell Westbrook is leading the charge for most people. There's a lot of arguments being made that LeBron should be MVP.
I mean, he's always in the conversation, and he should be.
He should be. This season, it's like, oh, well, Westbrook's a stats, stat stuffer and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of hard to deny them kind of stats, man.
Oh, especially when he averages...
It's not like they're losing tremendously either. They are currently 41-30.
Yeah, he lost the biggest weapon on his team, Kevin Durant, MVP, or former MVP.
Yes.
Going to his arch nemesis now.
Yes.
And it blew up his entire team. I mean, Serge Ibaka's gone, Kevin Durant's gone. They got a bunch of new faces. A lot of these players...
Well, the guys that are in there now, Steven Adams and Oladipo, not bad players.
Yeah, but a lot of the shooting percentages for some of the new players...
They're better than Russell's. That's the thing, is I was watching...
Oh, yeah.
I was watching Colin Cowherd talk about it, and he was saying that why Russell Westbrook shouldn't be MVP is that the dude hoists up tons and tons of shots, and doesn't mean that they always win. And like prime time, he doesn't perform well, and all that kind of stuff. And what was it? He was talking about how 6 other guys on the team, some of the guys who don't even start, have better shooting percentages than him.
His shooting percentage is the worst part of his game, and I'll give him that. He is not an inefficient shooter.
But the other night he went 100%.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was like, that's a way to answer.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's some nights where his shooting percentage, it makes you question, should he even be talked about in the MVP race?
And when he's winning all these games, it's not necessarily that he's playing horribly bad teams, because he's playing in the West. But a lot of these really big games come against opponents you don't really think are
the night you were talking about, he played against the 76ers. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, I mean, but at the same time, it's not like they're not winning. I mean, if they were losing
and he was having great numbers,
then I would be like, okay,
it'd be like throwing 50 touchdowns on a 1-15 team.
Yeah, I mean, plus
which wouldn't happen.
Plus, who would take those shots if not him? Was an argument I heard somebody
He's the
make.
guy on that team. He's the captain. We get that. It's just he's not putting you in like a number 1, number 2 seed. He's not making you favorites to win the NBA title.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though,
I think it's the reason why it's more of an argument as to why guys like Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James are still in this argument, is because these guys can make it to the finals.
Though, to be fair, LeBron James, they're losing and the Cavaliers are losing against teams they should not be losing against.
I think it's more about the resting. That's the reason why, though.
No. I mean, they just lost against the Nuggets.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they just lost against the Nuggets. I think it was 2 nights ago, and he said basically we all need to do better as a team, and a lot of he got a lot of backlash from that because it's like, LeBron, you need to be doing better because even though you're still LeBron, you're not.
I mean, his stats are 8 rebounds a game, 9 assists. He's almost averaging a triple-double with 26 points per game, and they're 46 and 24 in the East.
Yeah. I mean, no, they're still the number 1 seed.
Yeah, which like the Cavaliers are running the East. Wherever LeBron James go, they're almost assured to get the number 1 spot, which is like the argument. It's like, oh, he can go to any team and be awesome. But
yeah,
it's still the East.
Yeah.
In the sense of like the only other big competition you have out there right now are the Celtics. And they're playing a lot better than everybody thought they were going to. The Raptors are really good.
Yeah.
But outside, I don't really.
The Raptors' record doesn't reflect.
It doesn't reflect
their
how
potential.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Outside of that, the Wizards are okay.
The Wizards went from being the second worst team in the East to
playoff team. Yeah, but they're in comparison to the Cavaliers and LeBron, dude. They're okay.
I don't know. If I saw that matchup, a 7-game series, I question whether or not the Cavaliers could consistently win, just because they're
like
so
4 in a
top
row?
heavy.
4 in a row, I don't think so. But I think that the Cavaliers still come out and.
Oh, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen. I'm just saying I'm starting to question it because they're losing against teams like the Nuggets. Like I'm not saying the Nuggets are terrible, but
yeah, but they're not like a top tier team.
Exactly. You should not be losing against teams like this.
Or you shouldn't be having close games against the Lakers.
You can't rest to win games and then not win those games.
Yeah.
I think like if you rest and then your team gets demolished and you're like, all right, I'm coming back, and you still lose.
Yeah.
Granted, you put up these highlight reel dunks, great, but what does that give you like as far as momentum goes for playoff time?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna hit their gear come playoff time. It's not like anybody's a big threat to them. Like I said, the only other 2 teams I could see even being hugely like, okay, these guys could upset the Cavaliers or the Celtics and the Raptors to me. Just because the Raptors play really good defense.
Oh yeah, the Raptors, especially with Serge Ibaka added onto him, defensive monster. I mean, I feel like it could be a toss-up for those matchups, but I feel like the Wizards have, if any year to upset the Cavaliers, it's this year.
Yeah. Specifically,
I mean, they don't really have a lot of the.
And as a Celtics fan, I'm hopeful.
Oh yeah. I would say you better be crossing your fingers.
Oh yeah, 76ers fans, next season could be, a big.
I've been saying next season for the past 5 seasons. Well, this really
could be though, because Joel Embiid will be. Well, unfortunately, got injured again, but Joel Embiid will be coming back next season. Ben Simmons, you guys get back, really good guy coming out of the draft. And that could be exciting. And then whoever you guys land, possibly in the lottery this year, that could be a big move too.
Well, also if the Lakers somehow fall out of the top 3, we also get that pick. And we were really pushing hard for Paul George, apparently. Yeah. Did you see that report?
There were a lot of people pushing hard for him. The Celtics were pushing hard for
him. Yeah, we offered a couple future first-round picks, Jahlil Okafor or Nerlens Noel, and then...
I did see something about that.
And then Robert Covington, who is a really underrated player. And I'm saying that as a 76ers fan, but if we lose him, I'm going to be very disappointed because he is not heralded at all. And he could make... I shouldn't even say this. Robert, don't listen to me. Just stay where you are. Don't go anywhere else. No, but a lot of these players have potential, but what is potential unless you're winning? I mean, Dario Saric is probably going to be Rookie of the Year. Yeah. We're talking about who else besides him? Maybe Malcolm Brogdon or Malcolm Brogdon. That's it. For the Bucks, but other than that, it would be
Devin
Joel
Booker.
Embiid. Yeah. Devin Booker again.
I mean, he's getting some good shots, though. I see a lot of Devin Booker come across my timeline these days.
Yeah, I mean...
He could be the future of that Suns team.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about Marquise Chris possibly, but I mean, Dario Saric has emerged as front runner in my opinion. But as far as probably MVP, I'm still going to have to give it to Russell Westbrook. I know his shooting percentage is
There's a lot of advocacy for LeBron, but it's going to come down to him and LeBron.
Honestly, I would put James Harden over top of LeBron.
Harden's in the conversation as well. Because Harden is averaging like 29 points a game, 49 and 22, 11 assists, 8 rebounds a game. He's playing really well.
Oh,
too.
especially since you switch positions. I mean,
yeah.
You know, like a lot of people will struggle with that their first year.
Mm-hmm. But they put the ball in his hands in order for them to make big plays, and it's worked out so far.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they're like number 2 or 3 in the West,
as opposed to just basically giving somebody else the ball and James Harden saying you got to pass it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now you put it in his hands and say you got to pass it to everybody else.
Yeah, because like think about the roster that Harden has too. Besides Harden, I really couldn't name you anybody else on that roster.
Oh, you don't know about that Nene? You don't know Nene Hilario?
I didn't know he went there.
Yeah, Nene, he has a pretty solid. I mean, they still got Patrick Beverly, who's really good defensively. They have Trevor Ariza.
Oh yeah, they do still have some good guys. I thought a lot of people left. Is what.
Oh, I mean, Dwight Howard was probably the biggest name that left.
But after he left, I guess they've turned it around.
Yeah, I mean, they filled basically that spot with Nene and also their other center, whose name escapes me off the top of his head, off the top of my head, I should say. What is his name?
I guess that's probably a little bit higher than yours. No.
Yeah, he's probably just a little bit taller than me.
A little bit, almost 7 feet.
Yeah, I'm close to about center height in the NBA, I'd say. I just got a couple more inches I got to grow, then my career's about to take off.
It's taken off after 2 ACLs.
Yeah, 2 ACLs. I'm making my comeback finally.
But here we can move on to March Madness now, and I'm gonna start off really quickly. My bracket is pretty much busted.
Oh yeah.
I had Duke.
Join the 18 million people.
Oh yeah, exactly. I had Duke going all the way. I'm gonna say this very openly that I'm not huge into college basketball. Like I said, still a big football fan, obviously. But I had Terrance talk me into doing a bracket with him. And what's even funnier is that even as somebody who isn't huge, into college sports in general, my bracket's better than his right now.
Oh, right. Yeah, look, I think my bracket right now is...
So when he comes on the show here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to be giving him a hard time.
Yeah, so you got to give him some for that.
His percentage-wise in our group is about 45%, and I'm sitting around 73.
You got to call him out for that one.
Even though I picked Duke to win it all, I'm still doing better somehow.
I don't know who's a bigger underdog, the Browns playing in the NFL or me, who doesn't pay attention to college basketball that much, actually having 96.5%.
That's amazing.
For my bracket. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I say Nick has a bracket on here too, and it's 98%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
quite
pretty
impressive. Even though he had Duke winning the whole thing in this bracket too.
Yeah, I guess that's the.
Let me see. He had Duke and he had UNC going all the way, which I have UNC going to the final two as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had Villanova and Kansas in the championship game, but obviously that's not happening now because it. Oh yeah, and then I had Villanova versus Gonzaga, so that's just gone. But I mean, still, I'm hoping for.
At this point, I'm hoping Xavier could just make some crazy thing.
Oh
happen.
yeah.
Because that game last night, I actually sat down and watched it. It was actually pretty exciting because I had Arizona going farther, but I was like, Xavier's just underdog, man. The reason I picked Xavier at all, my little brother's name is Xavier. So I was just like, okay, I'll have Xavier win. You know what I mean? Like his dream was to one day go to Xavier University, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll pick Xavier. And then they won a couple games. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, now that upset, yeah.
But yeah, then I had them losing last night, and they pulled out a win. And go Xavier, man. I'm going with them for the rest of the way.
I'm just for bracket's sake, I'm really hoping it's Kansas, Kentucky in the semifinals because that's the only way I can possibly have a decent bracket is if I call that game correctly at this point.
At this point, to me, it's probably going to be Kansas, and I really don't know at this point who else can make it.
I mean UCLA definitely. Still got Ball on the team. Ball is life.
I want to say personally, is it bad that I kind of want to root against them just because I don't like LeVar Ball? His dad?
Yeah, no.
Dad is such an annoyance.
Yeah, his dad.
Did you see
what are you talking about? His dad is the best player of all time.
Dude, he could have beat Michael Jordan, right?
Right.
Dude, he was on First Take, and him and Stephen A were going at it. And I'm not usually a big fan of Stephen A's, but I was like, come on, Stephen A, get this guy.
Yeah.
Hold this guy back. Hold him back.
What you said was atrocious.
What you said was atrocious.
Blasphemous.
That is blasphemous. The way he does it too, he's so vocal.
This is egregious. You made an egregious error.
Yeah. Stephen A has his moments, man. But dude, like LeVar was like, dude, Michael couldn't take me 1-on-1 back in the day in my prime. Dude, Michael Jordan.
I'm sorry. If you average
2 points,
if you average a basket a game, like just put me on the bench and then I'll take 20 shots and I'll average a basket a game,
at least one,
and maybe a rebound, and I'll have similar stat line to LeVar Ball.
Dude, LeVar's I understand he's trying to promote his sons, and that's awesome. But
at a certain point, it just turns
into a
certain
part
negative.
where it becomes less about your kids and more about you, and it's just an annoyance at that point.
Yeah, I would say it's just off the field issues, or off the court issues, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like it's just a distraction, and it makes you wonder why he's pushing so hard to do this, and it might end up just being counterproductive for him. Mm-hmm. Might end up backfiring for his kids because now they look bad because they're related to him, and he's spouting off that they're better than Steph Curry.
Dude, if you would have put Steph on UCLA and you would have put my son on the Golden State Warriors, you know what I mean? Like, no, dude, Steph Curry is a 2-time MVP.
Yeah, first unanimous.
Obviously, he's doing something right.
Yeah, exactly, and that's at the professional level, which is something I guess he would know
So
about since he played 1 year in college.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Lonzo Ball, when he hits the league, and like, it's not like I'm rooting against him. It's just his dad's an annoyance. That's all it is. Yeah. And I feel like a ton of people feel that way. Because he's in the news every day.
I don't know if LeVar Ball is possible to be humbled. Let's put it that way. Because if you say that you're going to beat Michael Jordan, clearly your grasp on reality is fading.
Yeah, I understand being really excited about, something you're part of, in a sense, but it's like...
Yeah, you
take a back seat, you make your kid look better by not talking as much as you do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean... Just be quiet and let him get a deal. Because if anything, it's like, why would you want to draft somebody whose dad is going to just say some ridiculous stuff? Yeah,
exactly. Let's see. So who we have left playing today? We have UCLA, Kentucky. We have UNC, Butler, Baylor versus South Carolina, Wisconsin, Florida. These are the teams that are playing. The teams that have made it to the Elite Eight. Kansas versus Oregon, Gonzaga, Xavier. So that's what we have left.
I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to go with Kansas. Honestly, I mean, Xavier beat Gonzaga, so that was my last hope, was that Gonzaga was gonna make it so that way. Like I said, I had a decent bracket, but I'm pulling for Kansas at this point. Also because Joel Embiid, my favorite player, is from Kansas, so. Gotta show them a little bit of love.
Show the university a little love. I mean, even Michigan's out there, doing their thing. Just because I'm a Tom Brady fan.
Yeah.
I'll pull a little bit for Michigan. So, thank you very much for coming on the show. We're gonna hit a little break here. So, thank you very much once again for coming on the show.
Appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure having you on, Donovan. After we come back from the break, we should have Terrance and Nick right back on the show. We're gonna be discussing, of course, free agency, March Madness, as well as the Warriors in the MVP race. So hopefully we have enough time to cover all of our topics. Once again, everybody say goodbye to Donovan. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back after this break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rines Report. This is your host, Tristan Blake Rines. I'm joined by Terrance Schoefield. Unfortunately, Nick is not with us at this exact second, but he could be showing up near the middle of a broadcast. So we're going to get right into the NFL free agency. Not as expected for me, like I was saying earlier with Donovan. I want to get your take on it, Terrance. What do you think so far of the NFL free agency?
Honestly, I feel like it's been exciting for the Patriots, unfortunately. But everybody else has been making quiet moves. It hasn't been anything spectacular that I thought would be significant other than the Patriots. And I didn't even really think that the Patriots would be out here trying to
make all these kind of moves.
Right. And, I mean, Belichick never does that. So,
it's not very stereotypical.
Right, exactly. So, therefore, he is, what's the word I want to use? Seeing his way out. Brady, he knows that him and Tom Brady doesn't have too much longer. Maybe they have one more ring left in them, maybe two, possibly.
Yeah.
But at the most one. That's what I'm going to say. At the most one. He's getting, huh?
You mean the minimum one?
No, it could be two, possibly. It could be two, possibly.
Well,
but
you said maximum one, which means that it wouldn't mean.
I mean, possibly two, possibly. Yeah. I just don't want to, but that's what I'm saying, possibly. But
of course you don't.
It's going to be one.
So so your winner so far since the new league year began are the Patriots. Obviously, I'm going to say the Patriots, not even have a bias. It's just evident at this point.
They have all the good players.
Yeah, the big trades. Brandon Cooks is a huge asset that they brought in for their
better
number 32
Wes
pick.
Welker.
I don't know about Wes Welker. He's a lot more fast.
That's what I'm saying. Better.
He's the first big play threat that we've had that extend the field since we've had Randy Moss.
Okay.
Because
but
the
he's
speed that Brandon Cooks has is insane.
Right, but he ain't gonna go up and get it like Randy Moss did.
But if his separation is as good as it has been,
his hand's gonna be good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen the footage of him when he was in college?
I haven't.
Oregon State.
I haven't.
And he made there was one where he catches the one doing an out route, makes a dude miss. A few guys try to tackle him. He rolls over them, gets back up on his feet, makes another dude miss, shoots up the field, and scores a touchdown. His 40-yard dash in the combine years ago was a 4.340.
Okay.
He can fly.
Okay.
Let's see. But they got for the number 32 pick in the first round, their third round pick, they got Brandon Cooks, Coney Ely for 10 draft spots. Basically, they got from the Panthers. Is a pretty good young defensive end that I could see Bill Belichick molding into a stud.
As always.
Yeah, it's what they do. They signed Stephon Gilmore, possibly the top free agent cornerback.
He was. I mean,
which I didn't see coming at all.
At all. That was very surprising. Like,
I thought he was going to be going out west to possibly like L.A.
Somewhere other than the Patriots.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I had really thought that he was going to be going out to Oakland or.
And that was the first one. Like, he didn't even have nowhere else that he was going to. Like, all of a sudden you see 5 years, Stephon Gilmore to the Patriots. I'm like, like it wasn't even. He didn't even like stay in free agency long at all. It's like he already knew.
Those kind of guys always go day 1 or 2. But and Dante Hightower though. Speaking guys, which we didn't expect to stick on the market long, but
so Malcolm Butler's gone.
It seems like it could be happening. Because the Saints have been talking about bringing him in, and the Patriots and the Saints seem like they're about ready to start negotiating for, Malcolm Butler's contract.
Right.
Because the Saints have an offer basically set up for him, from what we've been hearing around the league, as well as the Patriots saying, okay, what we want for him is a first-round pick.
Right.
Whether or not the Patriots get a first-round pick for him.
I doubt that.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of, let's see, because they really want the 11 for Malcolm Butler. Because think about it like this. The Patriots see
the 11th pick.
The number 11 from the Saints. Think about this. The reason I could say the Patriots are doing it, and it could make sense, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but because elite corners are very hard to come by in the league. And Malcolm Butler's like, if he's not an elite corner, he's right on that edge of elite corners. And corner is a valuable position in the league.
I agree, because they haven't had anybody good since Tracy Porter.
Well, when Porter was
in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Let me see though. They have a pretty good secondary so far.
Yeah,
Delvin Breaux, Keenan Lewis,
yeah.
Vaccaro isn't very bad either. That's why I see it happening. And Sean Payton's very impressed with him.
Yeah, but I can see better. I can see them trading the 32 pick that y'all already gave them and just giving it right back to you all.
It'd be like if we just swapped for Brandon Cooks and Malcolm Butler.
Basically. Yeah. I think that works out better than anything, and it's more reasonable. 11th pick, because you got to think about it.
It's still within their own possibility.
It's a possibility, but you also got to think about it is that cornerbacks will be good for a good time period. Mm-hmm. This is what his third good year.
Yeah.
2
years ago, he was a rookie.
Right, and then his third good year, and they get that big contract signing, or they get some good money in their pocket, and what happens? They don't always turn out to be the best thing that they were supposed to be.
Well, let's see.
You got to think about it. Tracy Porter left the Saints.
But he was good with the Saints.
Yeah, but
that was also the bounty year.
Yeah, but still. It was the bounty year, but he was still good. You can't take away his credit. He still was a great corner, and he had that pick 6 in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So, you got to give him credit when credit is due.
He's still floating around the league a little bit.
Yeah, but he's not important anymore.
But I feel like Butler has more potential than Tracy Porter had. Tracy Porter had a good season that year, but outside of that 1 year, I don't really remember much of Tracy Porter having great seasons.
Say something. Give me something else. So Malcolm Butler had a great year this year? He
had a pretty good year. I'm not
better
saying
than last year?
Last year, I would say it was at least on par. He had a good amount of turnovers. He had like 3 picks. But he had a really good season his second year, too, coming out. Starting cornerback for the Patriots.
Yeah, because he made that pick.
This is that pick, and then we lost Revis and Browner.
And then he had to take over the load.
But he did, and he did it well. Better than people thought he was going to.
Yeah, I give him credit.
Like, okay, this guy's the number 1 corner for the Patriots now. And then
he's not number 1 anymore, though.
He's not number 1 corner to you? I think he's the number 1 corner on almost any team. Besides a team with like a Patrick Peterson or a Richard Sherman on it.
So he's better than Stephon Gilmore?
I think they're about even to me.
Stephon Gilmore is a monster. He's better than I'm putting it like this. He's better than Malcolm Butler. He's better than Malcolm Butler. Because that's the case, then y'all wouldn't have went out and signed him. Because the
reason we signed him was because we wanted that 1-2 tandem. But now Butler's a little upset and he doesn't want to be on the team.
But that's what I'm saying.
Or the true number one.
So that's disrespectful. You don't think that he just won y'all Super Bowl? He's had, as you said, he's had great. It is nothing that y'all shouldn't pay him his money for. And y'all go out and sign Stephon Gilmore to a nice contract, but y'all don't want to pay him.
I think we want to see one more of your body of work.
That's messed up. Y'all, he didn't gave it to y'all. He won y'all Super Bowl, and you just said that he gave y'all 2 other great years. So how come he don't deserve his money? Another player.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Right.
All I'm saying is
that's
that
disrespectful to go out and
all I'm
sign
saying is
another
that if he wants to stay in New England, which it doesn't seem like he wants. I think he just wants to be the number one wherever he goes.
Yeah, but he feels
which isn't always the
disrespected.
case.
But he feels disrespected. I would. You telling me that after what I've done for the Patriots, not being selfish, but you got to realize it. I want. If I didn't get that pick, y'all wouldn't have had the Super Bowl, so y'all would be stuck at 4. That's the first one. Then after y'all leave, after Darrelle Revis leaves, Brandon Browner leaves, I take over the number 1, and I'm still doing good. I'm still showing you that. It was a reason I called.
In the front office, I want to sign him.
Right.
That's me.
So that's disrespectful. You go out and sign.
But the matter of the fact is now that we got this other corner because we wanted that compliment, and then he didn't take it that way and saw it that way and sees it that way.
Well, then y'all probably did.
Is now that
include him
because he still has the option of being a free agent. That's the thing is we let him kind of test the market. All we're doing is putting a first round voucher on him. If somebody really wants him that bad, the return we can get for Malcolm Butler is a first round pick.
But that's I just feel like he feels disrespected.
I know he does.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Does.
So therefore, pay him his money. Don't tell me, if you want him to go test free agency, then let him go test free agency, not off of a first round pick. If that's the case, then you should have went on and signed his money.
Well, we obviously have a certain amount of value for him. We want to keep him for another season. He still has the option year, which is why we put it on. The first round tender is like, we put him on this first round tender because
if y'all wouldn't have done that, he would have left.
He could have, yeah.
He most likely would have left because first of all, he's disrespected. He's been disrespected. Belichick has known not to really give a flip about any of his players because he will trade you in a second. I mean, let's be honest. Belichick it's a business, right? Yeah. So Belichick would do what he has to do. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if he sees that he feels disrespected, he wants to have his little time in the moment, which he deserves. Belichick doesn't care about what he deserves. He cares about the beneficial of the team and winning.
And if there's somebody on the team who's like, I'm going to be salty about it, then we don't.
Jamie Collins.
We traded him. We saw his worth. We don't even know if Butler is better outside of the system.
So therefore, that's why I said.
Which is why it's always when it comes to contract negotiations with players, it's like, well, you've been in our system. We know how you play in our system. You want to go test it out somewhere else? We'll see how it goes.
But y'all letting him go test it out. Y'all letting him test it out, but y'all still want to hang on to him.
We want to get a return.
But you want the best of both worlds.
They're trying to get a return for him, which I think is fair.
But you want the best of both worlds. Pay the man his money. That's all.
I'm satisfied with no matter which way it goes.
Because you already have because if you wouldn't be satisfied if y'all don't have Stephon Gilmore.
As a matter of what it is, we have Stephon.
Right, so therefore he feels...
Who is an established number one corner in another system. We've seen that he can play. And bringing him into the Patriots system could make him like a top-tier corner.
And that's disrespectful to Malcolm Butler.
We've seen his potential so far.
And
it's good, but what I'm saying is that let's say he doesn't go to the Saints, we still have him. But if he goes to the Saints, we get a first-round pick and go get another corner if we want to. It's a win-win for the Patriots.
But
and then you don't have to overpay for this corner who could, flop next season, and get paid $12 million to flop. Darrelle Revis.
The thing is, Darrelle Revis is old. Okay, let's just be real. And I seen where y'all might get Darrelle Revis back. Yeah, we could
bring him back, but he's not gonna be a starter.
No, at all. He's gonna be maybe third string.
I could see him in that nickel. I could see him in a hybrid safety possibly.
Like this. If y'all don't get back Malcolm Butler, he could possibly start
over Eric Rowe.
Possibly. If he get back his 17 pounds that he lost, possibly.
He's going to get back in better shape.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if he gets back,
We could see
and
it.
gains that weight back. Hey, what if he came to the
I wouldn't even be upset bringing him back.
I would love to see him in a Cowboys uniform just to give him a chance.
I would like to see that happen because you guys have lost so much in the secondary. I could see it happening too. But it's a matter of the Cowboys. Do you guys want to go out and get Rines?
So I'm saying we lost our 7th pick in Morris Claiborne.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what year he came out.
He's been in the league for like 4 years now. He's with the Jets now.
Right. No, for some apparent reason. We lost Brandon Carr.
Brandon Carr to the Ravens.
Yeah, to the Ravens.
J.J. Wilcox went to Tampa Bay.
Right, and that's what I want. He was a hard
Barry
hitter.
Barry Church left for...
Was it Buccaneers he left for?
No, that was J.J. Wilcox.
I mean, yeah.
Barry Church left for... I just said it a minute ago. I think he went to... What are the Ravens?
We lost 2 starting corners. We lost a starting safety.
Oh, he went to the Jaguars, excuse me.
We lost a safety.
Which is why I also have you guys as losers from free agency. Since the new league.
Yeah, we lost. I don't know what we were doing with Tony Romo, but we need to figure this.
As soon as I think the Texans are just waiting. That's all they're doing. Because that's the reason Brock Osweiler's off their books is because they want to go out and get Tony Romo.
But then let's make it happen.
But I don't think the Cowboys want it to happen.
I mean, but what else are we going to do? Like, we just holding on to what? What are we holding on to? The good old
Just
time?
somebody to still teach Dak Prescott.
For what? He showed what he could do.
And Tony Romo could still play. We've seen that.
When
they put him in the game against Philadelphia,
Eagles,
and the drive he put up, and he went down and scored a touchdown.
One drive, we've seen Tony Romo do that before, and then the next drive he'll get what? Hurt. Accident prone.
But we've seen that he can still throw.
Yeah.
When Tony Romo's on the field, I'd put him in the top 10.
Yeah, how much is he on the field?
How much is he on the field?
In the last 3 seasons, how much has he been on the field?
Not as much as they'd like him to.
Exactly. And we have one of the best lines, and he's still accident prone. I give him credit,
man.
So therefore, we need to go ahead and ship him off. We should have went on the sign. What's the quarterback that signed with the Jets? I think it was the Jets.
Josh McCown?
Yes. We should have went on the sign Josh. He's not. Okay, I'm going to put it like this. He's not a Tony Romo backup. Okay? Nobody will ever. I mean, that's a great backup. Tony Romo's a great backup.
Oh, yeah. If he's a backup, he's like the elite of
right,
backups.
He's the elite of backups. I'm not saying Josh McCown will ever amount to Tony Romo. But we also know that Tony Romo wants to play.
Yes.
So we also know that Dak Prescott is going to play. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to start for us. That's just plain and simple. We know that.
And I understand where it's coming from, but it's a matter of the Texans going, well, if we know that they are going to release him eventually, we could play this waiting game. That's all I'm saying, is that the Cowboys won't get any return from him because the rest of the league knows that if they wait long enough, not even that he's injury prone, but if they wait long enough, he's going to get released. That's what's going to happen. And when he gets released, which I see it happen, they're not going to, probably not, I give it by the time the preseason starts.
That's a long time for what?
But it can happen.
He needs to be in another system by then, learning the system, learning everything about the team, and being able to be the starting quarterback or whatever whatever he's going to be, whatever position, well, not position, but whatever place you want to put him in, first, second, third, fourth string, whatever you want to put him in. Mm-hmm. So he needs to go ahead and learn that system, and Jerry Jones needs to be fair. Even though he doesn't always make the right decisions, he needs to go ahead. And
the thing is, when it comes to Romo, the Cowboys want a return for him, but like they made the mistake of releasing him and then being like, oh no, we're not going to grant the release now because the Texans just traded away Brock Osweiler. Yeah, because they knew they had a trade partner there, and they were like, well, we're getting impatient, and then they realized that the Texans opened up the space for them. They're like, okay, well, we're going to rescind the release that we put on him, and then we're just going to keep him on the organization and try to get a trade for him. And it could happen. It's not the furthest thing from possible, but the only team I could see trading for him are the Houston Texans.
And what would we get back?
That's a good question. I feel like it'd be like draft picks mostly.
This year's draft picks? That's what I want.
This and next year's.
I'll take it, but the draft pick is very near. What is it, a month away?
It's about 36 days, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, about a month. A month and a week.
34 days.
Yeah, so a month and 4 days.
Yeah. It's not tremendously far away. And it's just approaching is all I'm saying. So let's see.
I hope they do it before. That's what I want. Before.
The other team that I have as a big loser from free agency are the Cincinnati Bengals. And they lost quite a bit.
Who did they lose?
They lost Andrew Whitworth, who is a great left tackle. They lost Kevin Zeitler, which was the best guard on the market. And they lost Marcus Hunt, who was a pretty good defensive end, nothing crazy. Dominic Pecco,
That's because the Bengals. Well, this year AJ Green got hurt.
Yeah.
They was nice. I mean, let's be honest. They was doing really good, and then AJ got hurt, and Andy Dalton, the little red firebird, didn't know what to do.
Well, outside of AJ Green, I couldn't name you any of the receivers.
Exactly. I don't know not one other. I mean, it's AJ Green.
Yeah. They need to get him more receivers. Excuse me. They had Brandon LaFell as their
Didn't y'all have them?
We had him before he went to Cincinnati. Yeah. And he won a Super Bowl with us. But he's a good 2. He's not your 1.
No.
That's just me.
AJ Green was the number 2, number 3 receiver last year until he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe number 1. He would, but Julio was right there.
Julio was a beast last year.
That's what I'm saying. He still had a great game against y'all. Y'all didn't stop Julio.
Oh, we couldn't do it. He was awesome.
That's why y'all.
I'm giving him his due. I've done it a few times.
I'm still better.
You can be better all you want. We still have that win. Go Pats.
They found the jersey too. Did you?
I know. I did see it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I posted
you know what's
it all
crazy
over
though? I don't understand the world is they put FBI, everybody on to find Tom Brady's jersey.
Do you know
jersey.
Because that's grand theft at that point. Because they're worth those 2 jerseys.
I understand that, but then you can't find somebody that's missing or something like that. You know, like you can go find a jersey, but you can't go find a person.
It's crazy world.
That's a crazy world. But anyway,
well, that's $1 million and 2 shirts. Just think about that.
Right.
That's a lot of money for 2 shirts.
And they said they might have found Von Miller's.
They think it was
helmet.
the same person.
Yeah.
Who took his helmet? Yes. And now my thoughts on that too. By the way, I totally I didn't think about talking about it, but yeah, it's something to bring up. Is this guy went in behind the coaching staff before everybody was also supposed to be in there? Went in, took jersey, walked out. Right? How many times has he done that? Do you think? How many other Super Bowls has he been to where you think he's just walked into the locker room and stolen people's stuff?
And that was a Super Bowl. The one
that was the MVP of the game's jerseys twice. Same guy twice. And the MVP from the year before, Von Miller's helmet. Think about that. How does that slip past 3 years in a row at least? But my question is, has he done it before?
He had to. He's not going to just up and do it.
Yeah, the dude had been going for like 11 years.
Yeah, he's had to done it before. He's not no rookie.
I feel like there's definitely more things that have gone missing that we just don't know about yet.
Yep, that's been hidden or kept secret because they don't want us to know.
Maybe we didn't find out. I didn't even know that Tom Brady's other Super Bowl jersey was missing until this one got found. They're like, oh yeah, Super Bowl 49, his jersey was also stolen, but nobody said anything about it. What? I think it became an issue when 2 of them went missing. And it was I didn't just misplace this somewhere.
But I mean, this jersey, the one that y'all just was the Super Bowl 51.
Yes.
Y'all just won, is the best jersey of them all. I mean, it really this is his best Super Bowl win ever.
Yes.
But I mean, he came down from what 25
points.
Exactly. He's never done that in the Super Bowl.
No wins ever come close.
Exactly.
Before in Super Bowl 49, we tied the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history with 10 points.
And then y'all have 25 unanswered points. I really don't understand. Like, that's just
how can the world let this happen?
Yeah. NFL guys just wasn't. They I think they was out of commission that day, and they just
blame
the
NFL
the
football
devil.
gods.
Yeah, the NFL.
Them.
I'm gonna blame the NFL devil. I'm come up with the NFL devil. He just took over that day and said Deflategate will win.
I say you can feel that will you want, but they're still going to the White House on April 21st.
Hey, Cowboys been there 5 times too.
Oh, that's okay. It's just been about a decade.
Hey, look, that's all I can hold on to. I was only 1 year old, even if that.
Yeah.
But hey, look, I'm still gonna take credit for my Super Bowl wins because that's my team.
Yeah.
Regardless if I was illiterate or not.
Didn't even know what was going on.
Right.
Just excited.
I probably wasn't even watching the game, to be honest. You know, I was probably somewhere drinking milk.
So let's see. The biggest names left on the free agency market. We have Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, Darrell Revis, Jamal Charles, Jay Cutler, Marshawn Lynch is in the conversations for hitting free agency, coming back to play for the Raiders.
That would be nice.
Would have loved to have Nick on, but he's not here. And LeGarrette Blount is still on the market. There's some big names.
I didn't heard that the Giants might get LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
I didn't heard that they also might get early in the season I heard that they might get Adrian Peterson, but that seemed unlikely now.
Yeah.
I've also heard of y'all maybe waiting to the last minute and picking up Adrian Peterson or Jamal Charles.
Or re-signing Blount.
Or re-signing Blount. And that's just, if y'all get Adrian Peterson.
The Patriots.
I'm really, I probably won't watch football next year. That's like KD going to the Warriors.
I've seen a few of those memes pop up on my social media where it's like thinking of the things you're going to do during next football season because everybody knows the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl.
And I hope y'all play the Giants.
It would be something. It's just if that offensive line can't get itself squared away, then I don't see the Giants going past like first, second round of the playoffs.
Well,
that's
like I said, but the Giants, when they play against the Patriots,
they're good games.
Eli puts on
his
Superman hat.
I hold no animosity towards the Giants because they put up great games against the Patriots
every time.
They deserve those wins. That's just how I feel about it.
Hopefully Eli will put on a Superman hat just in case y'all make it there. You know.
I mean, Matt Ryan had his Super Bowl hat on.
No, he didn't. He never had. He did have the white hat on for a little bit, but then he lost it. I don't know where it went.
The second half.
I don't know. I think it's just like maybe it was like it was visible, but then it went invisible. Like he had it for a second. He had a glimpse of it, and the white hat was there.
Maybe that guy stole his hat.
You needed like I don't know, like some super glasses, like some Cyclops type glasses for something. I don't know. You know, like you had to see it. I might have had to be Dr. Xavier, you know, just
Professor Xavier.
Yeah, Professor Xavier. I said doctor, you know. I that's how good you had to be. You had to be a doctor to try to find it, you know. And I still can't grasp. I don't know
how that loss happened.
Yeah, I just
that's okay.
But
but the two teams I have Adrian Peterson going to, Green Bay and the Giants. Those are the two teams that make the most sense to me. Okay. The Giants are in need of an established number one running back.
Yeah.
Even at Adrian Peterson's age at this point.
They need something.
Coming off of a bad year and missing most of the season. I still think that it's worth at least a one-year contract. Green Bay, they need a running back. Of all the teams in the league who needs a running back. Ty Montgomery can't keep doing it.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
Ty Montgomery cannot.
But
they have Christy Michael. I think he's still on the roster, but to me, he's still not an established number one. He's had some glimpses, but not nearly enough. They lost their best offensive lineman to the Lions, TJ Lang.
Hey, the Lions, did they beat the Packers in that last game, or the Packers beat them?
Packers beat them.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
Let's also see here, Darrell Revis. They were talking about him going to the Patriots, which you mentioned. I wouldn't be upset if he came back to the Patriots because I know it wouldn't be like we need him as a number one. Now he'd be like, okay, decent number two, or maybe like a nickel 3. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Stephon Gilmore. And y'all disrespecting Malcolm Butler, but anyway.
We'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I really want to see that myself.
I'm very curious to see what would happen here. It's just a matter of, okay, well, if we trade him to the Saints, you know what I mean? We get something in return. That's all that matters to me, is that there's something that
the 32nd pick.
32nd pick would be fine. That'd be okay, because then the Patriots are back in the first round. There's still potential to make moves
y'all just
as well.
don't deserve that 11th pick.
If the Patriots get the 11th pick, what are you going to do, quit the show?
Yeah, I'm not coming back. Yeah, I don't understand.
I wouldn't let you forget it in the group chat.
Yeah, I'd probably block the group chat. Yeah, block it. Do not disturb, block everything you could think of.
I'd be blowing you and Nick up.
Yeah.
Just for giggles. Let's see, Jamal Charles.
I wouldn't even know who Tristan Rines is.
No, sir.
I say Jamal Charles, Seattle, Philadelphia. What do you think about that?
Seattle?
With him and Eddie Lacy? That would be nice.
They might be back Super Bowl.
They're always in the running.
Yeah.
The last, 4 years.
The Falcons had it and just lost it. Unfortunately.
We keep bringing up the Falcons.
I just... low-key, I used to be a Falcons fan back when Mike Vick was there. And then when Mike Vick left, I was a...
Hated his time.
Yeah, it was just like... I mean, I was always a Cowboys fan, you know, but it was Michael Vick, 2004.
It was almost like rooting for, let's say, like the Warriors.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like right now, like
because they were just so entertaining to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, he came from Tech. I mean,
right down the road.
Right down the road. You know, it's not. It's not far from where I live.
He went to my high school.
Exactly. So I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody from Virginia.
Yeah.
Went to Virginia Tech, right down the road from where you live. Went to your high school, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He did. Yeah.
And I mean, why Michael Vick? Why not? First round, first pick.
He was up there. He was
Yeah.
like first 3 picks.
Yeah, I think he might have been the number 1 pick.
Something like that.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty like.
I'm not too certain right now, but he was definitely like a top 5 when he was drafted.
Yeah, so I mean.
That was the same year LaDainian Tomlinson was drafted.
Exactly, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes. Do you
But
think? Vic,
Terrell
well, that
was-
being said, do you think Vic deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
The only thing they're gonna say against him is his 2 years he went to jail. But he's built his credibility back up. Let's just be honest. I mean, he owns the situation.
That's the thing is, I don't know. Personally, I don't think he makes it.
Because of that.
I think that and the fact that he was good for his career. I mean, he got the Falcons close once.
Did he ever make the NFC Championship?
But he's never had a full season where he, wasn't hurt. He got hurt in every one of his seasons, and he never finished. I'm pretty sure. Or if he did finish, it was in the middle of the year, and he got hurt at some point, too.
Right.
That's just the reasons I think that keep
I
him
mean,
out.
but he established a running quarterback.
Oh, yeah, he was the first one to make it a mainstream thing.
Yeah.
To be that fast, that athletic.
And still be able to throw.
To be able to bomb it.
And accuracy. He had the accuracy.
He wasn't known for his accuracy.
I mean, he
was known for having a really strong arm.
A really strong, but
and really fast.
But
not a lot of people remember him as an accurate quarterback.
I mean, he wasn't a Tom Brady, but for his speed and his power of an arm, his accuracy was pretty good. It wasn't no Tom Brady, but it was pretty good. You got to give the man his credit.
And he was good. When he was with the Eagles, I think it was probably one of his better seasons, just because he was able to.
I mean,
he refined his arm a little more.
He had more. He was older.
A little bit.
He still had the speed,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, he stayed in.
But he refined his arm, is what I'm saying. Is that
Yeah.
he threw better with the Eagles than he did with the Falcons.
Yeah, he ran more. He was
because
younger.
when he was with the Falcons, he relied on his legs a lot more than his arm.
I agree.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like, he never got past the NFC Championship game and he lost it.
To who?
The Packers. I'm pretty sure. No. He beat the Packers one year, but he lost. He lost in the playoffs. He never really made it. He never made it to the Super Bowl, which is the thing. I think it keeps him out. If he would have won a Super Bowl.
Did Daniel Thompson make the Super Bowl?
No, but LaDainian Tomlinson was an MVP of the league.
Okay.
He was a beast.
Mike Vick never. No.
He didn't win the MVP. He came in like second one year to Brady.
Brady.
When he was with the Eagles. That was the year that I'm trying to remember what season. I think that was when we played the Giants the second time.
And y'all lost.
Of course. Like I said, I have nothing against the Giants. Don't ever get that twisted. I have nothing against the Giants. Put up great games against us. So that to me, it's fair.
So I hope they play y'all. Y'all won't beat them. And this would be the perfect time. Y'all done went to free agency. Y'all done went and got everybody. Y'all done stacked up. Y'all got good receivers. Y'all trying to two-peat, and the Giants come in and just crush you. I mean, just that's
the day that Terrance becomes a Giants fan.
Hey, no. that ain't the day. That's the day that I become another happy Cowboys fan just because I can't stand the Patriots.
We'll see what happens, but the Patriots are, of course, the big favorites of the entire league to make it back and win it.
Every year. I mean, honestly, let's
Vegas
be honest.
loves the Patriots.
Yeah.
Vegas loves the Patriots because the Patriots are almost as sure of a bet as you can get when it comes to football.
Who's not going to bet on the Patriots? But I guarantee you, people bet on the Falcons, and they were sick when they lost.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen? There was a video up on YouTube that I checked out where it was Falcons fans at a Falcons game day party for the Super Bowl, and they were all super excited, like at the Atlanta Hall of Fame or something like that, watching this game, like crazy, going all over the place. And then come the fourth quarter, where he's like, "No!"
Right.
Like freaking out. And there's one Patriots fan in the back, and everybody's just like, "Get him out of here!" shouting expletives at this guy, something like that. And it was
bad.
It was bad for Falcons fans, but it's a mark in history, mark in football history.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you gotta let it be behind you. The off season's tough to let that happen, but you gotta let it go behind you and go out and win more games. Get back there. The only way people are gonna forget is if you win another game.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's how it works. Unfortunately, I mean the Patriots hadn't won Super Bowl in 10 years, and we beat the Seahawks, lost the Giants twice. It was tough.
I agree.
It was tough, but It's part of history. It happens. Let's see. So we can move on now to March Madness. Let's talk about that. Because I was talking about that with Donovan a little bit, and quite interesting. You were the one who pulled me into it.
I did.
Doing the bracket. And
I did.
even me, like I've said before, I'm not big into college sports.
Right.
Even less basketball.
Right.
And my bracket's better than yours right now.
Yeah, it's because I had Duke going.
A lot of people had Duke going all the way.
I mean, Duke. I feel like Mercer all over again. I feel like, oh man, I feel bad. I really feel bad because at the start of the season, everybody was hyping Duke up. I mean, I was even talking junk to every Carolina fan. I said, y'all better get ready. Because we're going to win a championship this year. We had the #1 recruiting class. We got Jason Tatum, Harry Giles, Marquise Bolden, Frank Jackson. Have you seen them? The high school highlights? I mean, really. Have you seen it? We got Grayson Allen coming back. I mean, I talked about Luke Kennard, but I definitely didn't think he was going to have the season that he had. And then we get to play South Carolina Gamecock.
And that defense.
I mean, like 15, I think, maybe even more turnovers in the first half, including foul trouble with Jason Tatum and Luke Kennard. And Grayson Allen wasn't hitting those clutch threes like he normally does, like the three.
I had picked Duke to go all the way. That's me. As somebody who looks from the outside, who's not really big into college basketball, you know that Duke wins.
Right.
They're very consistent. They're
Coach
usually Elite Eight,
exactly,
like regulars, and they lost in the Sweet 16.
Not even that.
Or excuse me, the round of 32.
Thank you.
Round of 32. Excuse me.
But thanks. I appreciate that trying to give us a little credit, but no, we didn't even make it there.
Yeah. I mean, I visited Duke University last semester. Very beautiful campus, by the way. My stepdad, Tim, he would not be very happy, but he's a big UNC fan. But it was a beautiful campus. I can understand the winning mentality you have when you walk on that campus. It's like, okay,
feels great.
It's nice. I wish I could have stayed for possibly a game, but it didn't work out that way. But it's middle of Durham, North Carolina. Not a very bad city to be in. By the way, pretty lovely out there. But if you ever go out to that campus, it's very lovely, very lovely. Let's see. But yeah, my bracket pretty much busted at this point. My winning percentage is around like 73, 74%.
I don't even want to talk about mine. Let's just leave it alone.
Yours is at 45%, dude.
Yeah. I wasn't even going to bring it up. Leave it right there where it is. Unfortunately. Because I just knew Jason Tatum was on a roll. Luke Kennard was on a roll. I mean, it was looking good. It was really looking good. And we just croaked over.
Let's see. I'm getting some correspondence from one of our active listeners right now. He's talking about something. We were talking about Duke because he was one of the friends I went with.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. March Madness. Overall.
Madness.
It is madness, and I thought I was gonna do okay.
Madness.
Speaking of which, in the beginning, because I had Wisconsin beating Villanova. Not a lot of people had that. I took Colin Cowherd's advice. I've said it plenty of times, but I like the work Colin Cowherd does. I took his advice, and the way he explained it was like Villanova had a lot of close games, and that #1 was like a compliment to them.
Right.
But he didn't expect them to go farther than Wisconsin.
Where's Chris Jenkins at now? He's just a nobody now. From Villanova last year.
I have
the
no
one
idea.
Hit the shot.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even know if he went to the league or if he just, I don't know.
Sometimes they just fall through or something.
Yeah.
Maybe D League somewhere. I have no idea. He could be in the league somewhere.
Possibly.
I'm not the biggest basketball person either.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm probably not the biggest person. You probably could have asked Donovan and he would have been able to tell you. Let's see. But yeah, I had Wisconsin winning. People were like, "Can you guys believe Villanova lost?" Like some of the group chats I'm involved in. Like, "Can you believe Villanova lost?" I was like, "I can definitely believe it."
I picked it. Right.
People didn't have Xavier going as far as they have.
I didn't.
I didn't have them beating Arizona last night, but that was a good game.
Yeah, they tried. Like Arizona tried. They tried to hit that shot, but they was playing hot D.
Mm-hmm.
Like really hot D.
Let's see what else here. Kansas moved on past Purdue last night in a rout 98-66. That's a lot of points. Gonzaga beat West Virginia 61-58. Oregon squeaked by Michigan 69-68. Xavier beat Arizona like we were just talking about. What's left for today? UCLA versus Kentucky. That's going to be the game a lot of people are going to
Lonzo Ball to the Lakers. First round, second pick, first round, first pick somewhere.
We have a resident LA Lakers fan.
Yes.
UNC versus Butler, Baylor versus South Carolina, and Wisconsin versus Florida. Kentucky, UCLA, I probably will have to tune into.
When they play tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
9:40.
Something like that. I'll tune into that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just to see what Lonzo Ball and Malik Monk's going to do.
Yeah.
And president of basketball operations just went to go check out, the future Laker. Hopefully,
You're very hopeful.
Yeah, I'm very look.
Well, how bitter would you be if the lottery came up and the Celtics got like the number 2, number 3 pick and ended up picking them up? How bitter would you be? Because I'm a Celtics fan.
I mean, y'all. I'm just gonna breathe really hard. Are you gonna hear?
Because we had the third pick last year and got Jaylen Brown, who hasn't been a bad player. He's been doing okay.
And y'all got it next
progress.
year too. Y'all got 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's 4 years.
It's something like that.
3 or 4 years of the Nets picks.
Yeah.
Because they traded everything to y'all because they thought Paul Pierce and KG was going to be it. Yeah. And they were not it.
Not at all.
And I mean, it just makes me so mad.
That's at the bottom of the East right now.
The Lakers are number 2 in the whole NBA. So hopefully
number 2
in the worst record.
Okay, I was about to say they're not even close.
Oh yeah,
to the top.
No, that was back in 03, 04. That's when we.
That was
good.
when Kobe was, the guy.
Yeah, Kobe and Shaq and Kobe.
Oh, that was a great tandem.
Yes.
I love playing 2K and putting Shaq on my team.
The old 2000 team with Shaq and Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, man, pick and roll all day. Yes, I love it. I mean,
you gotta appreciate the pass.
I do. Now I watched that. You can't sit there. No, I'm a Lakers fan. I can't talk about the Cowboys where I didn't see it, but the Lakers I seen every championship, every single one of Kobe's 5 championship rings. I seen it.
Yeah.
And I was there watching the game. Might have been 5 or 6 or 7, but I was watching it and I remember it because Kobe. I mean, for my generation, it was Kobe.
Yeah.
Now for a little bit, then Kobe was still doing good, but then that's when LeBron started taking over, was coming on the scene, was dunking, was going to the finals, and then you have Steph Curry. Like he comes out of nowhere,
hitting a shot like deep shot from anywhere. Now it's all Curry.
Yeah, Curry. That's what you hear little kids saying now. Like, it's no. Oh, you just got Kobe. Or you
like for me in our day, it was like, oh, you got mossed, man.
Yeah.
Now it's Odell.
Yeah, like
everybody catches it with one hand.
I work in this little what's it called? It's not an after school program, but it's college and mentors for kids.
Okay.
And one of my little kids that I mentor, Jeremiah, he is a football fan. Like he loves football, loves it. So one day we was going back and forth, talking junk, arguing. Well, not arguing, but just talking junk. Yeah. And he was like, look, I will get you out on the field and I will Odell you. And I looked at him like, oh, you Odell me? And I felt, I'm only 21 and I felt old because I'm like, this little kid just told me that he will Odell me. And I'm like, I know who Odell Beckham is, but you gonna Odell me? Like that doesn't even make sense. Like
fine, I'll moss you.
Yeah, I'll moss you. Like I told him, that's exactly what I told him. I was like, I'll moss you. And he looked at me and was like, who is Moss? And I'm like,
you don't even know.
You don't even know. Like that's how good.
You don't even know.
So like I will moss you. Like you think you Odell me? Do you know who Randy Moss is? And he's just looking at me like, okay. Like he doesn't know who Randy. Like he might know who Randy Moss is, but he doesn't.
He doesn't know when Randy was like the guy.
Right. So it's like when I was playing football in high school, like if I snagged on somebody playing receiver or if somebody snagged, hey, I'm talking junk to you. You got mossed. Mm-hmm. Like what was you trying? Like you got mossed, and now this little kid come up and telling me, that doesn't even sound.
That's that separation of just time. It
like,
happens gradually.
It doesn't even sound like Moss went with it. Like you gonna get mossed.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get Odell. That doesn't.
So the kids today, they don't realize that like the whole thing, it's mossed. It was started with that. Because Moss used to go up over people.
Yeah, like and he would talk junk, and I mean like his speed in his hands
and his vertical.
I mean
almost unbeatable.
I mean, honestly, it was. I mean, he's one of the
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even Rivas couldn't cover him in his prime.
couldn't do it. I mean,
he couldn't.
You got most.
Yeah.
I mean, what else could you say?
One of my favorite catches from Randy Moss was the one where they're playing the Jets like first couple weeks of the season, I'm pretty sure, and it's in the back of the end zone, and Moss just like Brady puts it right on.
I mean, and one hand.
Just pulled it right in, like right behind Rivas, basically. It was a really good catch. There's one of my favorite catches of all time was a Thursday night football game. This was like when Thursday night was just starting, and like nobody could watch it unless you had NFL Network.
Yeah.
When it was just becoming a thing too.
Right.
So it's a Thursday night game against the Patriots Jets, and the next day I started my Sports Center, of course, watching that, and I'm watching the highlights, and Moss makes this crazy like lean catch from the sideline of the end zone. So he has his feet in as he's falling through, the pass is going out of bounds. He keeps his feet in, catches it on the outside, and scores a touchdown. And we beat the Jets. That was
back when the Jets and Patriots was like, that was back when Mark Sanchez was good.
I think it was the year before Sanchez came in.
Okay.
But it was coming up.
Yeah, Sanchez he might still have been at USC.
Mm-hmm. Everybody thought Mark Sanchez was going to be the man.
It was only for, 3 years?
With the Jets? He wasn't there very long. He threw like just as many touchdowns as he did interceptions, I'm pretty sure. Mark Sanchez is a quality backup. He's not the guy who's going to run your franchise. That's just me.
Yeah, understandable. I agree.
I didn't really have anything against Mark Sanchez either because I like guys coming out of USC. USC is a good football program.
Reggie
Bush, Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews is from USC.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about him.
Yeah, man. Ray Malaluga, quality linebacker for the Bengals, is from USC. Junior Seau, USC. Ton of guys. You can't talk about the history of football without having USC football.
I agree.
That's just how it is. Like Alabama, there's just certain programs you couldn't talk about when you talk about the history of football.
But Alabama don't have quarterbacks, though. They have running backs and defensive players, but quarterbacks, they do not produce.
They just don't.
But I hope Jalen Hurts ends up being really good.
He could be we'll see. He was only a freshman this last year.
Exactly, and he done good.
Mm-hmm. I hope he doesn't fall in that realm of like, oh, I'm one of those, I won a national championship, or something like that eventually, and I'm going to go play in the NFL now because I have all this confidence.
Right.
If you're a college athlete, make the most of the fact that you're there on scholarship and go get a degree.
That's what I would do. My mom, honestly, I wouldn't have no choice. My mom, my family, everybody would. You think you're going to the league right now? You're not going to finish your degree? Nah. Like, you're staying.
At least, like, get an associate.
Yeah.
These guys who come out, like, right after their freshman years, like, NBA is really known for that, but at least they made it a requirement.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they would have made it a requirement back in the day, like, LeBron would have been playing for, like, Ohio State. What do you think about that?
But somebody told me that Kobe was going to go play for UNC. I didn't think that. I thought Kobe was going to play for Duke. I could have swore that I had read somewhere that Kobe was going to play for Duke, but the other day I was on ESPN and they were saying that Kobe would have went to UNC, and that really broke my heart.
I mean, it isn't the furthest thing from possible.
Yeah, but
it would have happened.
It didn't go, so it's
obviously didn't happen. He straight out of high school.
Yeah.
Kobe was. You just think about it back in the day, dude. Like, yeah. Did you see when during his farewell season when he went to Charlotte?
Yeah.
And Charlotte gave him this huge ovation.
I went. I was.
Because the that draft. You were there?
Yes.
How was that?
Look, me and my girlfriend went, and I'm telling you, bro, it was the best experience. Michael Jordan came on the screen, gave Kobe his farewell. Because it's Kobe then Michael. Let's just be real. It's Kobe then Michael. I mean, not Kobe then Michael, but Michael then Kobe. I'm sorry. And it was an experience that I'll never forget. I mean, my favorite player, his last season, and I get to go watch him play.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I got so many pictures. I got so many memories in my mind right now that I'm reliving right now as I'm talking to you. And it's just it was worth every penny.
This is why we watch sports.
Exactly. Because it was worth every penny to see Kobe Bean Bryant play in Charlotte, where he originally got drafted to, 13th pick, traded for Vlade Divac, and he's going back to play him. And my favorite player, and I get to see him play. Yeah. How better can it get? It can't get.
It'd be like if Brady was coming down, like during his last season,
Yeah.
to go play Washington or something like that.
And you went to go see him. I promise you, I ain't shedding no tear, but I was excited.
Oh yeah.
Like I couldn't stop. Like I was yelling during the game. Kobe hit a shot. Oh, Kobe Bryant hit a shot.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I was so hyped. Like my girlfriend, she was like he's acting crazy. It was people behind me laughing and all that, but I didn't care because it was Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was Kobe Bryant, and I was just
You're there to see one of the greatest of all time.
Yes, one of the greatest, second greatest. I'm gonna argue anybody that down to the day I die.
I mean, we'll see what happens by the time LeBron retires, but
Yeah, he's not winning anymore.
oh, he's not gonna win anymore.
Maybe one.
This season,
I hope.
This season they could probably have it. I mean, the way it's looking right now. I mean, if the Warriors can pick it up, I could see another.
I mean, if KD come back, it's good.
We'll see, because if he comes back, it wouldn't be till like late in the playoffs.
No, they said he's doing really good.
Really?
Yeah, I looked up that. I think it was a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
They said his progress is going further than expected, but they haven't actually came out and said, well, this and this and that. But like how they'll come out with just a little bit, and he was doing bike runs and he's been doing contact work. So, but they haven't came out and said, oh, he's gonna be back in the next 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So it's still a
We'll see what
timetable.
happens.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I would like to see that matchup, KD and the Warriors versus LeBron and the Cavs.
It's crazy how we say KD and the Warriors now instead of Steph and the Warriors.
Well, I mean, because if he comes back, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's crazy how.
Well, yeah. Speaking of, we have a few minutes left here, real quick. We can talk about it for the next couple minutes. What do you think about the fact that since Durant's injury, they haven't been the same team? It's not like they've dropped off huge,
Right.
But I think it took Steph a few games to get back in the flow on the guy again.
I agree with that. I mean, you got to understand that he was no longer the number one. He took a backseat to Durant because that's what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to give Durant something that he didn't have.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma City. So Steph didn't mind doing that. So he took a back seat, and he wasn't MVP caliber anymore. He still had the jump shot, but it wasn't the same flow. Like he had to get back into letting it fly and trusting himself again.
I mean, personally, I still think the Warriors can make it. It's just a matter of how good of a series the Spurs give them.
Yeah, I mean, how good of a series Kawhi gives him. Let's just be real. I mean, it's really Kawhi. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, to be honest, he should have stayed with Portland. I mean, he would have a better chance of winning something else with C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard right now than he would have with Kawhi. Mm-hmm. Even though Kawhi is MVP caliber, Tony Parker is no longer relevant. Manu Ginobili hitting shots off the side of a backboard. Tim Duncan is gone, and Pau Gasol has been injured. Mm-hmm. So what else do you have? And I mean, he just came back off a heart injury, like something dealing with his heart too. LaMarcus Aldridge did.
Yeah, so he's been out for a little while.
Yeah, so I mean, he should have stayed or went somewhere else because right now, I mean, they don't have. Yeah, Kawhi is nice. Yes. I give it to Kawhi Leonard is a beast. I mean, his defense turns into offense. I mean, and he scores so many.
Kawhi's as good on defense. It's not better on
and
defense.
His offense didn't even used to be like that, but now it's like he can shoot.
I get that. I credit Popovich for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best coaches ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is. I mean, I used to say Phil Jackson was, but I mean, Pop is Pop. You know what I'm saying? It's Popovich.
He's up there.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to give credit when credit is due.
I think the fact that Phil's also GMing for the Knicks now has kind of blemished his career a little bit.
A lot, because he's tried to insert the triangle so much that he's even taken over practice.
Yeah.
From Jeff Hornacek, I think that's how you say his name, and he's tried to insert the triangle so much that it's not even working, and he's really messed up his. What did you just say? He messed up his career, like his legacy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he doesn't need to be a GM no longer. I think president of basketball, whatever he is.
He is the GM.
Yeah. He's.
It's just frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to see where it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
that should be about all out of time for us this week on the Rines Report. Make sure to tune in next Friday at 10 a.m. to 12. Check out my website, TristanBlakeRines.com, as well as the Rines Report Facebook page. You can also, through the website, TristanBlakeRines.com, get links to our Facebook page, YouTube channel, as well as my personal LinkedIn as well. So thank you guys very much for listening this week. Join us next week, and we'll have another slew of topics to talk about. Hopefully, Nicholas Penninger will be joining us. Donovan Vattelana will be back next week, as well as hopefully Terrance Schoefield. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So stay tuned for next week, guys. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.